And also, like, have you noticed, like, all the ingredients? They're Bizarro Land ingredients. They're all out of nowhere. You know, saffron, and if you really watch Food Network for a lot, there's a rotation. I don't really know if they're, like, doing an advertising push, but for a while it's like saffron, then it's this, then it's like saffron, but different and better, and then they just keep rotating through it, and this and that, and this and that. It's maddening. And then the other thing that really got to me is I realized it was a false contest. Like, I was watching some of the shows, and you could predict who won, not by, like, their skill or pedigree, but, like, their little story, you know, when you have, like, the disabled lesbian from Guatemala that overcame so much and her mom has cancer, and her last dying wish was all she really wanted was for her to win a Food Network contest. Because that, I would be concerned about that if I had cancer. Like, they win. And you gotta ask yourself, like, and I eventually found the formula where they were likable. Female is a lot more likely to win than male. Usually a diverse color, which means any color but white. No agenda there. And if they were some kind of degenerate, like, you know, a gay, just more and more. So, like, you could add it up, but then the ones with attitude problems or too many tattoos didn't make, because they're all desperately trying to make, like, their next mouthpiece, show star, little guy with their contest. Because, like, the thing is, here's the deal. You can't taste any of the fucking food on these contests. So it's not like it's football where you can go like, well, he did in fact score a goal. It's like, that was the best hamburger ever. Was it? You have no idea. So it's important to think about those things when you're watching TV, because it's absolutely true that at least some people want to lie to you on the television and persuade you to do things, and they're willing to spend a lot of money for it. Doubt me? Okay, what's an ad? Anyways, I hope we're having fun today, because I am. You know, I really thought I'd have absolutely nothing to talk about, but then I kind of got myself going and worked up, and here we are. So, at this point, god damn it. That was just me knocking a jar over. Everything's okay, nothing broke. Anyways, we're near the final phases. I'm going to put peas in before I forget, because, oh yeah, the bell peppers were really good because they also absorb the water in the flavors of the soup like celery. I wanted to say that, so if anyone tries to mimic how these things work, they can. Here's some potatoes. I think we got more over here. Yeah. Peas. Now, I'm not going to try it this time, but I kind of got this sneaking suspicion that if I were to put something like chicken wings, not like B-dubs chicken wings, but like actual, like the ones that you get in the store, they're in a big poultry pack, just raw chicken with the bones and all, and just toss it in there. I kind of got this idea that it might be nice, because it's only like one or two really big bones, easy to avoid. It adds your bone flavor, same idea with the broth that I put in, but maybe more direct, I don't know. And you'd have all these cool little chicken chunks floating around that were cooked with the flavors and presumably absorbing some. I don't really know. I have no idea how this would work. I've never tried it, but I think it might be fun. And it might be even extra fun if you're ever doing, like, you know, pioneer themed whatever type foods, like over a fire and got a little bones floating around and doing whatever. Excuse me. And you could like pull them out, or either way. So this one ain't no good. All these potatoes are gone. That's a shame. Good thing we got backup potatoes. Another extremely easy thing to grow. Now, I'm not going to give a tutorial on it at the moment, but I have seen a really clever way of growing potatoes that reduces the amount of work significantly. So you take your little potato starter, seed, whatever you want to call a potato, and instead of burying it way under the ground, you take hay and other nonsense like that, but mostly hay, and just pile it on top and let nature do its job, because like everyone's seen a potato grow in their kitchen, right? And what this does is it provides the function of the soil being on top, that the potato needs, while allowing the potatoes also like have ground available to them, because they're just on the ground. It's probably tilled ground, but either way. And then when it comes harvesting time for your potatoes, instead of doing all this bigging and forking and, you know, things that are fairly labor intensive and not very fun, especially for just potatoes, and all you gotta do is you gotta just push the hay aside, and there's your potatoes all hanging out, being like, yo, what's up, we're potato people, come and eat us. And then you oblige them, because that's a very kind offer. And, you know, you turn, I mean, I got no time estimates, but I can only imagine the massive amount of time and energy savings that you would benefit from with that method. So, somewhere within a year, I'll probably be trying that. And if you are still viewing my wonderful, stupid YouTube channel, Mom and Dad, you'll get to see it. Now, I washed a lot of potatoes. I don't think we need this many. I really don't. So the question becomes, do I want to make this a starchy, semi-hammy soup, or do I want to go with the like kind of thick but fibrous broccoli thing I made last time? And honestly, I think I'm going to go with the former, because I already got the potatoes out, and I feel like seeing what the difference is. So, if anyone ever wonders what the secret to half of my recipes is, it's mostly not paying attention to what I'm doing so much. Then that's not entirely true, because I pay a lot of attention to it. But I guess it's really just that it's the result of a long process of slowly changing things, starting with a very simple base of whatever it may be. Like hell, what's half my meat recipes? Put a piece of meat in the oven, add heat, wait, you know. And it's really hard to improve that with a good cut of red meat. Like, you really just don't need to do a lot. But I did see a cool trick for red meat. And to finish, my first thought is, and then make small changes. When I started out cooking, I had a fairly strict rule of 3 ingredients. Your main ingredient and no more than 2 other things. That not only allowed me to kind of see the effects it had, because for a while I was putting like everything under the sun. It was just a mishmash of stuff, and I didn't know what was what, or if it came out good, why. And a lot of times it just came out bland. You know, sort of like when you mix a bunch of colors or cultures together, you don't really get like 2 cultures, you get a bland version and no culture. And that's always bad, and so are the flavors. Or like with colors, it's brown, right? It's almost always brown. Sometimes it's kind of like a gray mesh. But especially in paint, you pretty much get brown when you mix too many colors. And that's that. You just, like, you don't get rainbow, I'll tell you that. Oh, yeah, with steak. A really cool trick is if you want to season your red meat without going into crazy town and being relatively ineffective, what you can do is after you cook it, when it's resting, it tends to first kind of like excrete and then soak its own juices. Easy enough to observe if you don't believe me. Cook a piece of meat, set it on a cutting board. You didn't cook it to like super well done dry, carbon style, and it's got a red center, stuff's going to leak out. And while that's happening, give it a cut or 2, however you like, you know, after the rest. And when it bleeds out, throw your seasoning on it. This is the perfect time to put on things like butters or herbs that normally under meat cooking conditions would just burn to death and not exist. And the liquids, the hot liquids, will actually pick up the flavor without ruining it. And then as the meat like sponges it back up, ta-da! Anyone who's interested in trying this, my favorite is butter and rosemary. Now, I just like rosemary like a lot on almost everything. So, is this a good combination or simply me exerting my preference? No, you be the judge. Try it. I don't know. I can't tell you what you like. Parsley's probably a safe bet for starting. What's another good one? Cilantro, not so much dumb. I mean, if you like it, you like it. But I love cilantro, so don't get me wrong on that front. It's just I don't think it goes good with red meat. Okay, so now we have our soup going. It's not yet boiling, and I still need to add the pepper. Now this thing about pepper, because most people really don't like pepper, and I don't blame them because they get that pre-ground nonsense. And don't pretend for a second that I really enjoy having to do this. And if anyone, these are IKEA ones, but like this area, like it looks cool, but it's completely not grippable. So even over like this amount of steam, I start losing grip on it. So I don't know. I need a new shaker. That's what I was getting at. But anyways, with the pepper inside that little ball, like I'm sure you've seen it, but here you go. That ball is oil, or something oil-like, that lives in the pepper. And I'll tell you what, that is like all of the flavor that pepper has. But it dries up pretty damn quick as soon as it gets exposed to air. So that ground pepper garbage that everyone likes to have and mostly just is shit, well, that's why. All the oil's gone. In fact, they probably extract it right at the company and put it into something else, some flavoring, because it's not like you'd even, I wouldn't even call that insidious or devious. It's just whatever. And all for the convenience of not having to crack your own pepper. I'll tell you, the Trojan horse of probably every civilization, but definitely ours, is convenience. If something is done, if something is explained to you why this, why that, and the answer or the selling point is convenience, run the fuck away. It's not worth it. They're overcharging you, and you will regret it in the end. I don't think I've ever seen that rule break. I really haven't. Because, I mean, I can't even think of one thing that's really saved the genuine amount of time in the name of convenience. Little snack pack, little, I don't know. But hell, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to give you a view of the soup because it looks kind of cool, and I'm not going to mute it this time. And there we go. That is the soup getting ready to become food. I mean, it technically already is. And we'll see how it goes. So that's my video for today. I hope you guys are well and that you enjoyed this. Bye. I think it stopped. I really got to work on this part. No, you're still recording, you son.